Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and this has probably been a long overdue video. I know I'm very sorry about that. I just been wanting to sit back and just relax, and just basically try to figure out what's going on with a lot of things that's going on in my personal situations. I know this COVID-19 is really, really, really pushing the envelope for a lot of people. I personally want to get back to work. I love my day job. I love making these videos too, but I don't want to make this uh, my internal business. I really don't, because that means I have to now focus in on give you guys an intro and everything else. I just kind of want to keep it simple, keep it concise, and give you the best content and give you uh, the best content that can be easily digestible, so you guys can sit back and just and listen to if I have anything that you guys are willing to listen to. Now, I've been not troubled, but I've been asked by one of my subscribers about these questions he's been asking about the Flash. Now I don't know he she I'm not gonna label a name. I'm not gonna label a sex to this individual. I don't know if it's a woman or a dude. The picture shows a woman on there, but I don't know if it's a woman or a dude. So I'm gonna say this individual. I'm gonna try to do my best to say individual. I'm sorry, I do not know how to pronounce your name either. Um, so one of the big questions this individual asked was back on my was BOP doomed from the start. Now he said he saw my previous video and he said he quite liked it, and he wanted to clear some things up. Um, it seems like this individual wants to put in all the Flash people back into the comics. Now that would be cool. That's the cool thing about it. But I think that Max Mercury has ran its course. I think that his character is not needed anymore. Only on the fact that Barry they've actually centralized the whole story around Barry, Eobard, and Wally, and now they're writing Wally out, giving Wally something to do, and they're going back to Wallace. They're gonna call him Wallace. So if I remember correctly. So I think that Jay Garrick is going to be reintroduced back into the comics again, but he's going to get a very, very, very subtle role in the comics. They're not going to try to overbearing the whole situation with Jay Garrick. They want to keep him in there, but they also do not want to. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. I had a game and missed playing. Now, one of the things that this individual asked is he proposed something, and I've read it and I wanted to sit back and think about it. Now, he said for Max Mercury, perhaps he isn't stuck in the Speed Force, but comes back with no powers at all in the new Earth that you made, which should be the restored pre-52 continuity, thus can live a normal life, acting as a mentor for Bart and younger heroes. I'm fine with his speed returning to post ROBA, which is Return of Barry Allen, and pre-TV levels, which is terminal velocity, which to his Injustice League unlimited speed. How much faster will it be, as both stories have a similar moment by the end? Um, it's simple. Are you talking about Barry or Wally? Now, if it's Wally, then I want him to go back to Return of Barry Allen speed. I want him to be he's faster than Barry just by a good margin. Not he could just outrun Barry without having to stress about it. I kind of want Barry to I want the Flashes to not be so fast that people can just go, then why doesn't he do this? If he has a limitation to his speed, it makes a little bit better storylines. Same thing goes for Superman. If you make him so powerful, only a green rock can slow him down. Come on, that gets boring over time. So for Flash, it's the same thing. Barry and Wally have quite possibly the most experience when it comes to dealing with speedsters than Max Mercury and Jay Garrick and even Jesse Quick and Liberty Bell. So I personally believe that the best thing for them to do is get him back to a level of speed where he's still faster than Barry, but he and Barry are just like, I'm not gonna say a hair. think of it like this. I will put him more at where Eobard is. Like Eobard's always going to be one hair faster than Barry. Make Wally just about a foot, and I mean a foot faster than Eobard, which makes him about a foot and a half faster than Barry. So he's able to be outrun Barry, but it's a very close margin. It's very close. Like Barry can almost touch him. That's how fast they're compared to speed. Right now, Wally can outrun Barry 15 times before Barry can realize it. That's how fast Wally is. And I think that that's the best thing to do. Now, for Max Mercury, like I said before, his character has ran its course. There is no purpose for his character because you can use that same thing with Jay Garrick. Yeah, it's the same thing for Jay Garrick. You can use the same thing, and Jay Garrick is the first speedster in old comics. So making Jay the mentor for all the younger heroes and also for Bart and for younger speedsters and such makes a lot more sense for Jay Garrick than it is for Max Mercury, because Max Mercury was never supposed to be the mentor for all the speedsters. It was always going to be Jay Garrick. Max Mercury was just that older hero that was around the same time as Jay Garrick, but they didn't know how to utilize these two, and it was more in the fact is that a lot of the writers did not know how to write Max Mercury out of the story because he was still very popular. And again, you brought him up. He's a pretty damn popular character, but I think that Max Mercury's character is going to conflict too much with Jay Garrick's character, and having both of them as mentors for the speedsters, then you're going to kind of make this weird rivalry between the two of them, and it makes absolutely no sense. They're the two old fogies that all the young heroes can look up to. I think the best course of action is Jay Garrick becomes their mentor, and he does it in light of Max Mercury because he remembers Max Mercury, and I think that would be a much better homage. And then having two speedster mentors to be around. And also, you don't have to have Jay Garrick as a speedster. You can have him as he's the guy who could break the sonic limit. He could break the sonic limit. That's more than enough than what you're kind of proposing, if you understand what I mean. Okay, now he also brought in, which comparable to his Justice League Unlimited speed, how much faster will it be as both stories have similar moments by the end? Yeah, it's like I said, I don't want Wally to be that fast anymore. I think it's time to kind of peer his speed away and either make him like Max Mercury, so there's no need for Max Mercury anymore, or reduce his speed and put him as a new speedster, but he's on a different world. He needs to be away from Barry. That is just the crux of the story right now, because you gotta realize the whole purpose of Flash War was the fact that Wally was sick and tired of Barry telling him what to do, like he's still the sidekick. Though that was the crux of why Barry and Wally had a conflict. Wally kept telling Barry, you're not I'm the hero, and I've been a hero for as long or even longer than you. And you're telling me how I need to be a hero, while Barry is sitting there telling him the same thing he's been telling him all the time. Like, I've been there. I know. It's like, dude, he does know you know. But the thing that was the whole crux of Flash War. And I think the best course of action is get Wally off of the new I'm sorry, not Flashpoint, but the Rebirth world, the new Fifth world, put him on a new universe and have him be the premier Flash there. And have it as Wally West, the Flash. And you have the Flash, and then you have Kid Flash, stuff like that. But you need to or have him as Impulse. That'll be fine. And then Bart should be actually have nothing to do with Barry. He grew up with Wally. Wally was basically his, not his mentor, but that was like his father figure. He looked to Wally and Max Mercury a lot more than he looked to Barry Allen, because Barry Allen was dead by the time he got back. So I think that the best course of action is to bring in Bart and put Bart with Wally and have that whole Wally West Bart Allen situation and have it as Kid Impulse and Impulse, and that'll be a much better continuity, and you don't mix the two. And then Wally is telling Bart that he can go visit his grandfather all he wants, he just doesn't want to be around him, only on the fact is that they're gonna start that whole their arguments again. that Barry thinks that he's still the adult out of the two, that he's the mentor and he's still the student. It's like, no, there's things that Wally could teach Barry on how to use his speed. So that's how I felt that they should do it, and it makes a lot more sense. Now, let me see. How much faster would we build for stories having similar moment by the end? I'm also fine with the speed light, with the lightning being a punch enhancer, but not the lightning throw thing, as I feel it should be unique to a speedster. Wally can enhance his attacks with lightning while Barry can throw it. Regarding the okay. All right, I don't want to jump into the other thing. Okay, now, I wanted to do the throw. The throw shows that they have massive control over over the energy that they generate. That shows mastery in how to do it. That's the whole purpose of why they're able to do it. I think it was Max Mercury that showed them how to do it. Max Mercury can do it because he has that much experience with his speed. The other thing that shows massive control of speed is the fact that Max Mercury taught Wally, not Barry, he taught Wally how to zap and give and take speed. He can give speed to anybody. He can give him enough energy to basically become a speedster for like a little bit, and then that's it. The energy just dissipates out of him. So he can give and take speed because of Savitar. So that's why I think that they should have those things, but I think it should be unique to certain people. Like Wally should be able to do almost everything. But again, that's because he has such a level of control of his speed, and he generates so much energy. But if you cut his speed back to, like I said before, back to about a foot and a half faster than Barry, then he can't do the give and take speed. He can't do other stuff because he doesn't have the level of power that he used to. So there should be limits to what these other guys should be able to do. Okay, that's how there's got to be limits. All right, now regarding the GLO thing, I knew it was Wally. Okay, cool. Regarding the speed in the show, maybe you could do a storyline where JLU Wally gets a speed boost and gets his comic book level and still make it work in the show. As a friend of mine suggested, perhaps a third speed is just the comic book level Wally speed, but represented differently as the DAU Earth works differently. No, physics is physics. No, don't do that. No, it doesn't work differently. We just don't have an explanation of it. And also, the cinematic universe and even the TV universe, it depends on how the writers want to do the physics. That's just the way it is. They never explained a lot of stuff in the TV show that I have a feeling that Zach and Ezra were gonna go with in the Snyder Cut. Now, it could be debated. It could be debated how you feel about it or anything like that, but we don't know what Zach was proposing for how the Flash goes into the Speed Force. How he goes through the Speed Force. Sorry, not goes through the Speed Force. We don't know how he does it. We don't know how the look of it is. All we know is from BVS that it shows us a massive like a punch in reality, and you see a guy reaching out to Bruce Wayne. We don't know how it looks. We know how it looks in the TV show. It looks like a stream of light, and that's it. We know how it looks in the TV in the cartoon because we see it also as a punch of light, but that's it. We don't see him traveling along the way lines of the Speed Force. We don't know. We don't know anything about that because no one really showed it off in the cartoon. They showed off in the TV show, but it was very limited because of the amount of money. But we don't know how Zack Snyder was going to do it. We know how it looks in the comics. It looks like a prism basically had babies all over the freaking place. It's very prismatic, and he's running along it. Now, if you look at DC Online, that video, the MMO, it shows you what the Speed Force looks like. It looks like the same energy as Barry Allen. I think that's actually an interesting concept. It's a very interesting concept because it's him utilizing the power of his Speed Force to have you enter through the Speed Force and try to get to the past or whatever you want to go. So it's his energy, and I kind of like that. That's actually pretty cool. But I think that they should have it as a uniform energy because it's different. It should be like how it is in the comics. It should be prismatic, very bright, different levels of colors. My only thing is that I don't like the fact in the TV show that he'd go into the Speed Force and he talks to these aliens. No, it should not be you go into the Speed Force. And it throws this whole concept of going into the Speed Force or going through the Speed Force or anything like that. But we know in the comics, and again, people can say, well, it doesn't have to be like the comics. It has to make sense like the comics. If Barry dies, he's supposed to go into the Speed Force. His energy is supposed to become part of the Speed Force, so any other speedsters can draw on that energy too and become faster. That is the whole point of the of why speedsters do not go into the Speed Force. Why the Black Flash drags them into the Speed Force. That's their Nirvana. That's their heaven. Give me a break. Don't make it too complicated. And that's what they did in the TV show. They made it way too complicated. And if they come along and try to fix it, they have to completely soft boot the whole reality of the Speed Force. That's why in the TV show they're trying to eliminate the Speed Force so they don't have to rely on Barry going into the Speed Force every single time. He can now draw energy from the Speed Force and go as fast as he wishes, without him having to go dimension hopping or time travel. They want to get away from all that stuff. But we don't know what's going to happen now because of them always changing their effing minds. So, but to answer your question, it depends on the writer, but physics is physics. They cannot change it. If the Flash was to get it's like you have to hit 88 miles an hour to generate the energy in the DeLorean to go into the time stream. That's how it is in Back to the Future. They can't change it in a later movie and say, no, you have to now you have to reach 76. Why? Why is it slower? So if you can't say, I mean, so I have a feeling that if writers do that, that just completely discredits the whole freaking thing. So physics is physics. We just have to see how the writers try to interpret it so it makes us better to understand what's going on. But they don't want to make it too complicated because they don't want to lose their casual audience. They want to keep their audience attracted. Hence why we're getting a lot of drama. We're getting a lot of teen drama because their audience are tweeners. I'm sorry, they're tweeners. I'm not saying that you're a tweener or anybody else. What I'm saying is that they're building their stories around women. They want the women to be watching this show. They don't want rough and tough dudes to be watching the show. They think that they don't read comics. When that's BS. We know that there's some guys who love comics and they're rough and tumble guys. They love comics. So again, it's one of those things of that the networks do not understand their base, and the writers don't understand their base because they're what I believe, quote unquote, wannabe geeks. They're the wannabe geeks / nerds who think that nerdom is geekdom, and that's not right. Geekdom is different. You could be a regular person and like geeky things. Most nerds are considered very intellectual, and they're about the science and everything like that. That's nerds. Geeks are different. Geeks are different. So like I said, I think that. So I think that you trying to say that the DCAU Earth works differently, that's not true. The only way it works differently is unless the writer puts in that the gravity is different or something like that. But they can't change the physics. If Flash is this fast and they say another universe Flash is about the same level of speed or faster, they have to explain it. But it's also the fact is that it depends on how he uses his speed. But physics is physics. They can't change his speed just because of the story. It has to be, they can change it, but they can't make it where it doesn't make any sense. Like, why is he faster? Because the main thing is why for years, we were wondering, why is Eobard always faster than Barry? And they explained it. They finally explained it. And I give it for Geoff Johns for explaining it, that he takes from the negative Speed Force, which is the opposite level of Barry, and he draws more energy from it because he knows how to temper his aggression and level. We now know why Eobard doesn't give himself completely fully to the negative Speed Force is because of what happened to Daniel West. We know what happens. They get so enraptured by the energy, they basically become a husk and they die. Then they brought him back for some strange reason, and then he died again. It was weird. It was very weird how they did it, but that was an interesting concept they brought in, that if you draw too much energy from the negative Speed Force, you actually get enveloped by the negative Speed Force. You die. So it makes sense why Eobard does not give in so much to the negative Speed Force. He just draws enough from it to get the speed that he needs. And also, I do love how they did Zoom. Zoom is not fast. He's like Quicksilver, but on massive levels of crack. He's like Quicksilver who's on the Speed Force. He can go from point A to point B in a split second by slowing everything else down. Hence why Wally is trying to get as fast as he can to Zoom, but Zoom is slowing him down so he can move faster than him. That's how they made Zoom Hunter Zolomon faster than Wally, because he was slowing everybody down. He was slowing everything down so he could run from point A to point B. He's moving at regular speed, but it looks like he's moving at massive speeds. Because even from Wally's perspective, who's moving massively fast, Zoom is moving massively fast. That's how they did it, and I like that. That was actually cool. That was a cool concept that they did. Hunter Zolomon's Reverse Flash. Okay, so let me see. He talks about the whole Superman carries the bomb away in the Royal Flush Gang situation. Sees less than a picosecond. Not really, because if you look at it, and look at even with the TV show, basically things were still moving. He grabbed it and went and was gone. He was like, "Huh? What happened?" And he said, "Hey, wait a minute." And all you heard was an explosion because he moved that fast. But when you saw in the slow motion, you saw Superman still slow punching one of the Royal Flush Gang members, and the bomb was slowly exploding. So that means that he was still moving within the time frame that it took. Now, if he was so fast that he moved from point A to point B so fast that the thing didn't even explode at the time, and he was already back, then you saw everything froze. Just frozen, like it was frozen. That's why they were showing in the TV show that Barry was moving so fast that things were moving slow, but then in what they called "quote unquote" flash time, he was moving so fast everything else was stand still, and he was able to pull anybody else he wanted into there. That's within a picosecond. That's within a picosecond, because he's moving within that second before the second even clicks. He's within that time frame. That's insane speed. But the TV show dropped the ball, because if he's able to move that level of speed, there is nothing he cannot do in the TV show. There's nothing he cannot do. He could clean up crime within his city within 5 minutes. The moment his thing goes off, he's already there. That's how fast he moves. If you're saying he can stand within a picosecond, within the moments of a second, he could stand within it and talk for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, however long he wishes. That is dumb speed. Dumb. So what I want is, if you're talking about Wally, I want Wally to be able to do that. Barry should not be able to do that. Barry should have a hard time staying within that second, like a very hard time, because he can't move that fast. That's insane levels of speed. And he says within a picosecond, so his speed is above the speed of sound, but can't hit light unless he really struggles to. And if he goes to the farthest side and go through the Speed Force, where he can run faster than light because the Speed Force allows him to. Okay, to better clarify what you're trying to say here is, Barry and even Wally are far above the speed of sound. They were at the cusp of light speed. Light speed makes it so you can bend light. Light is supposed to travel faster than anything. You move faster than the speed of light, you're supposed to be able to break the time barrier. That is the whole point of relative physics. Now what I want is Barry cannot break the time barrier. He cannot break it. That's what I feel they're going to go with in the TV show. That he cannot break the time barrier anymore. He cannot break light. He could break maybe about 4 or 5 times the speed of sound. That's it. And Wally should be able to break a little bit more than that. Just a little bit more. Not by very much. So that's what I think they should do with. Okay. Now I know that he has more. Now, I'm sorry, not he. I'm very sorry about that. The individual has more questions, and we will talk about that too. But I hope I answered your big question that you did a week ago. I'm very sorry about that one. Now, let me see. Okay, he talked about like how fast would I want Wally to be after your story. I think it's the same way. I want Wally, if we're doing Wally from the comics or the movies. If it's the movies, I want Wally to be where Barry Allen was in the first season of the Flash. That's where I want Wally to be at. But Barry in the movie should notice that he's way faster than that. He notices it. He notices that Wally is holding himself back, and he's way faster. But he's not pushing the subject. If Wally doesn't want to become faster, then that's not for Barry to do. So I think that we should see that. Okay. His max speed, like I said, his max speed should be what Barry's max speed was in season 1. If you go back to season 1 of Flash, of the TV show Flash, the current one, not the old one, but the current one, that where they were testing his speed, that's where his max speed should be. That should be Wally's max speed in the movie. Should he also have his speed steal ability? No. He should not have his speed steal ability. If it's in the movie, I don't want to have his speed steal. I want it to be where that is so powerful that even Eobard doesn't know how to do it. Eobard does not know how to do it. He's heard about it, but he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't understand how to do that because that's insane levels of speed. Let me see. This individual also asks, I like the living entity concept. Thank you. The only problem I have with is the speed limit. It should be around light speed, and faster than light allows him to go through the speed force. The limit should be around season 3 of JLU Flash, as he, in my mind, got a speed boost, but it should have been depleted better. He should have had solid gold lightning. No solid gold lightning. Do not do solid gold, because you got to realize that the whole purpose of the different layers of light around them is supposed to be their connection to the speed force. And also it shows how they're bending the light around them when they're running. It's their UV light trail. So I think they should keep that, and they should have it there. Having it as solid gold is taken away from Godspeed, and we need to stay away from that. Every speedster should have their own unique speed light, and Wally should be one of those that should fluctuate between certain levels. Let me see. Regardless, that was a great story, and a great way to nerf the character as a perpetual godhood is never good for any story. Exactly. You just answered the main question of why I don't want Wally or Barry to be at certain levels. Why I want them to be at certain levels, because they're godhoods now. Because realize that was the whole purpose of why people hated Superman for freaking decades. They hated Superman because, dude, it's like he could do whatever the heck he wants. People are like, well, that's just Superman. I go, no, that can never be the answer to your story, that Superman can just do it because it's Superman. No, that's why a lot of us, even including myself, love the stories where his humanity is pushed, that his ideology is pushed. And it makes us know that he's not a good, he can't, in certain ways, he's not a good person. He does the things he wants because he can do it because he's Superman. That's the whole thing of it. Should he do stuff like that? Should he be questioned? And that's the reason why I'm saying that the Flash is you don't give him a massive levels of speed. That was the whole argument in season 3 of the Flash when Jay told him, we're not gods, we're men, and we're given all these great powers, but we have to learn the limits of them. And he started to realize that they're not gods. They cannot pretend to be gods. And the Flash has to realize that. He has the power to change whatever concept of time he wants. He can go back in time and literally kill Hitler and prevent World War II. He can go back and prevent World War I if he wanted to. He can get rid of the Nazi party if he wanted to. But he realize that having that level of power will do a lot of damage. Hence why do you think that Eobard doesn't do it? Now again, I'm not yelling at this individual. I'm not. I'm just saying these are the things that people keep asking, but it's like that's the reason why you need to limit superheroes. You cannot have superheroes just doing whatever they want. You can't. You can't. Batman should be a limited hero. Not because of his powers, but because he has such a wide variety of money, of wealth, and no one questions him because he's the most intellectual superhero that they have right now. He's the most cunning superhero they have right now. They have in the Justice League. No one can outsmart Batman. Well, I'm about to say Superman. No one can outsmart Batman. Not many superheroes can outsmart Batman. So that's why I think that they should Okay. Now he asked me about the reverse flash concept and how to bring him back. I will do that. I will do that. I have to think about that, and I will do it. That will happen. I will do it because I do have a great concept of how to bring back the reverse flash in the comics and make it make absolute sense. And also, um, and also, how to cement him in time. So no matter what, he's always going to be there. Always. Always. You cannot get rid of the reverse flash. You cannot get rid of Eobard Thawne. You can't. He's a consistent. And it's going to make you go, wow. To me, it makes me go, wow. Sorry, not make you go, wow. All right. Let me see. He asked a question. I'm sorry. The individual asked a question. Should his speed steal? No speed steal. It just makes him way too overpowered. That's why he rarely ever does it. He only does it as a massive, massive situation that has him say, I got to do this. I have to steal this person's speed. That's the reason why. Okay, here's the thing that people don't realize. If Barry can take away people's speed, why in the hell do you need to take away Godspeed's speed? They say, well, he was faster than Barry. So what? The moment that dude got close to him, Barry can actually start stealing his speed slowly. So the slower he was getting, the faster Barry was catching up to him and then grabbing and start stealing the rest of his speed. If Barry could do that at that time, he would have done it. He just can't do it. It was always Wally. Wally should be the one that could always steal people's speed and take away people's speed. Barry shouldn't. Barry should not. That makes him way too overpowered. Way too overpowered. There's certain things that Barry can do Wally can be able to do. He just doesn't do it. And there's things that Wally can do that Barry cannot do. So, again, are you the question you're asking about is also what should be his speed, like 1993 Wally? Oh, Wally. 96 or 97 Wally is speed. Like I said, Wally should go back to the moment he defeated Eobard Thawne, when Eobard Thawne came back and posed as Barry Allen to screw over Barry Allen's legacy. And Wally finally broke through the mental barrier he had on his own speed and outpaced Eobard Thawne to beat Eobard Thawne. That's where Wally should have his speed back. That's where Wally should have his speed. So probably around 93, maybe 96. Write a pitch of how to properly characterize and bring back Hunter Zolomon. Yeah, that could be part of my whole reverse flash, how I bring him back, and even Hunter Zolomon, because I think Hunter Zolomon deserves to have one more push as the Zoom, and I think that the Zoom character needs to be retired, because the way I'm going to bring back Professor Zoom, which is Eobard Thawne, it's going to be the return of the reverse flash. It's the true return of the reverse flash, and it's going to be something I hope that a lot of you guys are going to enjoy. So I hope that I answered your questions. I hope I try to get to them all as one, but I'm hoping that you understand that I don't want Wally and Barry to be insanely more powerful than they're supposed to be, and I definitely don't want them to be so powerful that they're underpowered to the point where they can't really do anything. But there has to be that sweet spot speed, and I think that Barry should be a little bit slower than Wally. Only on the fact is that that's always been the whole thing with Wally. Wally is always supposed to have been faster than Barry. He was never supposed to be slower than Barry, never. And it was stupid that they did that in Young Justice, but it made sense because eventually he's going to become faster than Barry Allen. That's been his legacy. Barry even stated it. Batman stated it. Even Dick Grayson stated it. They all stated that Wally is faster than Barry. He's always been faster than Barry. He just did not want to upstage Barry because Barry was the premier superhero. That was his uncle. That was his mentor. He did not want to become he didn't want the student surpassing the master. But Barry already knew that, and he was okay with it. He was okay with it. When he returned out of the Speed Force in the first Flash Rebirth, he even told Wally, "Dude, I've always knew you were faster than me." He was just waiting for him to realize it and let go. And that was the whole point of their relationship. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys understand. I did not want this to be insanely long. I wanted to get to these questions and try to answer them as best I can, and also think about this because it is a very complex level of questions. And I hope that you I hope you kind of hold back on the questions a little bit, and hope that we talk about something else. I will give that reverse flash concept thought about, and I will actually have that out as soon as I possibly can. Right now, I'm just trying to relax. I'm trying to figure out a lot of stuff, and I will get to it. So like, comment, share, subscribe down below, hit the bell. I will have some videos out as soon as I possibly can. Again, this COVID-19 situation is draining me. I'm getting cabin fever. I want to go to work. I'm getting pissed off more and more every single day because this is getting to be ridiculous, and it's just ruining everyone's lives. It really is. It's ruining more people's lives than saving lives, and people need to understand that. That's my personal take on it. I hope you guys understand that, and I respect all your decisions. You think we should be saving lives, but it's much more dangerous for everyone to be at home and losing jobs than having you not having the power of yourself to understand what you should be doing to protect yourself and go out and mingle amongst people. We should be able to control our own destinies, not government or not anybody else. I should not feel sorry for you because you basically want to try to save 50,000 people. How about me? My life is just as important as someone else's, and you can use that comment against me. But I should have the power of my own life. There are people out there who are autoimmune who get sick the moment you sneeze on them. They're living their lives. They're going out. They're having fun. They're doing whatever they want. You have cancer patients who have severe levels of cancer, and they're living their lives. So why is this? Why is this? To me, I feel like, why is this destroying us? Why is this destroying the American ideal that we have a manifest destiny? We should have control of our own destinies, and that's how I feel about it. I'm sorry if it bursts your bubble or anything like that, but that's how I see how we as individual people. Yes, we should care about other people, but that's not showing discare. What it's showing is that I have care about myself, and I want to be able to go out and I actually want to be able to go to work. I want to be able to afford my own standard of living. I'm not one of these YouTube guys who can actually stay home and make 15 videos and put all this effort into all these videos and have all these videos out for you every single day. That's not my job. My job is my day job, and this is just a recreational ability. This is recreation. This is just something I want to do. Okay, so I hope you guys continue to be with me. Hope you guys continue to subscribe. I will talk a little bit about the Snyder Cut on top of what I feel is going on with the Flash. Also, about the Batman and what I heard about Zoe Kravitz and everything else. All right, you guys have a great one. Bye bye.